Good evening and welcome everyone. I am so sorry we had a technical difficulty. It was definitely not on Yvonne or Kimberly. It was all me as usual. But I want to thank everybody for being here for week one of Mental Health Awareness Month. This is our town hall series, hosted by, of course, Say Their Name Monuments. This month is very, very, very important because it's mental health. And the idea that came from this, I kind of want to give you the little backstory of how it came about, was that I know that we talk a lot about um, litigation and things like that when it comes to families grieving, but we never talk about the mental health aspects or those pieces that come when you lose someone, regardless of whether or not it's police brutality, gun violence. There's always a mental piece that comes with that never really gets discussed, and a lot of times, most people are afraid to talk about it. So, what I wanted to do this month was to open up a platform where everybody could just be free. You could just be yourself. You can say what you need to say, almost like a therapy session type town hall where we'll have open discussion. And if anybody in the audience have questions, please send them in, and then we can go from there by trying to answer as many questions as we can. So tonight we'll begin with one of the deepest forms of grief, and that is the loss of a spouse, a partner, a soulmate. This space was created to honor that kind of love and the pain that comes when it's taken too soon. So before we get started, we're going to do a little grounding exercise. Um, and what we're going to do is it's a breathing exercise, and a lot of times that's what they do in therapy sessions. I know that's what I do in mine. And so we'll do that here, and we'll do that in each one of our town halls so that we can kind of get in the groove of being able to learn how to breathe properly, which will help release a lot of stress. It's almost like a reset. Hopefully I do it right, y'all. I'm not the best. Some weeks we will have grief therapists and counselors on there that will be able to walk us through different exercises. But this one came up so fast. So tonight I got to be y'all grief counselor. So I have no background in it. I just see a therapist. I see two or three of them. It's definitely needed. So if you need one, please go see one. All
Yeah.
right. So before we begin, we're going to take a moment to ground ourselves in stillness and presence. I invite everyone to gently close your eyes or lower your gaze if that feels safer for you. Place your hand over your heart and take a slow, deep breath in and release. Think of the one you love, your partner, your peace, your person. Say their name in your heart. Feel the weight of their love, not just their absence. Now breathe again and silently affirm, I carry your love. I carry our story. I am still here. So I hope that felt really good. I know it felt good for me and I didn't lose anybody, but just that reset, that breathing for a moment, especially after having a very long day at work or whatever else you're dealing with out there. So right now we're going to go straight into more of our storytelling time. And so tonight I'm honored to be joined by two powerful women who continue to carry love, loss, and legacy every day. We've had them before in our town hall. So I want to welcome them back. This is very exciting. We get to see some of the same faces because it just shows that so many people from around the world are dealing with some of the same issues. So it's a bad reason to see you, but it's a good reason to see you, right?
Right.
To be on these type of terms. So Kimberly Vaughn, former wife of mother and only child of Muhammad Estefan. I hope I said that right. I mess up names. Y'all know I'm good at that. Yvonne Delor Torre. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Oh, I got it right. Okay, okay. I'm sorry. That was really rewarding for me, you guys. And she's the domestic partner of Alejandro Campos Rios. Right?
Right.
Okay, 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 okay. So we're gonna first start off with Kim. I know y'all that was really corny, but I get excited when I do something right. And names are one of the things I cannot get right. I don't care what I do. Sometimes I'll go on Google and I try to like do the translator because I will mess up a name. So let's get started. Kimberly, are you ready to tell a little bit about your story? Then we'll talk more a little bit about the grief side and the little questions I have. So tell us a little bit more about Muhammad.
Okay. Well, thank you, first of all, for the opportunity to be here along with my sister, Yvonne. Um, a lot of times, the wives, the girlfriends, the ex wives, the partners, they kind of get left out um, because we're not moms of the victims. So I appreciate this opportunity to put us in this space. Um, we hurt just like the rest of them. And I have buried two children along with Muhammad. So I know what it feels like to lose a child, not to police violence. I can't imagine. Um, but I just wanted to say how I appreciate you recognizing this part of our fight. Um, so, that being said, I also want to mention a fellow partner in our fight that wasn't able to be here tonight, but is also a close friend with Yvonne and I, and that is Charletta Pritchard. Her partner, Timothy Glaze,
One of our
was
town
just
halls that
recent.
we kind of get in there.
Yeah. Her partner, Timothy Glaze, was murdered by Chicago police just about 4 months ago. So we
Mm.
want to give a big shout out. Another wife, partner, spouse, ex wife, whatever you want to call us. And my cats are going to intervene.
It's
And
okay.
I wanted to tell you too, a part of the technical difficulties is Muhammad. That's his way of letting us know that he is here, that he is
Well,
with
thank
us,
you.
that he is present. Because every time I do this, we always, no matter what I do, I'm either squeaking the mic, there's some kind of technical difficulties, the fuse blows, we run out of time, something. So, and then he also sends the cats to irritate me. They don't bother me any other time until I'm doing something like this. And
Not
there they are, knocking his picture down in the background. So, at any rate, we'll get on with it. Um, did you want me to tell his story again,
Yeah,
or
we
did you want
yeah,
to
tell
kind of?
us a little bit about who he is. We don't really have to get into the whole trauma side of things, but because we'll get to that. We'll get to that piece, of course. But yeah, just tell us a little bit of who Muhammad is, what he like. We want to get to know who Muhammad was on on a
Okay.
positive side. Because sometimes we always put out the trauma side and we don't get to really know the person for who they are, right?
Right, right. Well, Muhammad obviously was Arab. He was born in Amman, Jordan, to his mom, Khalida, my mother in law, who still talks to me to this day. We still keep in contact, even overseas. His father, Jamal, did pass after Muhammad was murdered. Um, and he also has a sister that just passed. He
Mhm.
has two sisters and two more brothers, all overseas. He did come here and was became a citizen, got his citizenship and everything. And yeah, we met in '96, started dating in '97, got married in '98, and had our little cupcake, as we call her, in 2002. We keep her identity concealed to try and protect her because for one, her health has declined since the murder of her father so much that she's in a wheelchair now. Um, but two, we have been heavily harassed between our neighbors and the police, and they know that we don't have a man in our house. So it's just myself and my disabled daughter. So I tend to keep her identity protected. Any pictures you see of her, it's going to be when she's a tater tot. Um, but she's actually 22 now. She was 17 when Muhammad was murdered. And that was the center of his universe was our cupcake.
Mhm.
Yeah, everything that he did revolved around her. And she was 17, like I said at the time, and he was the one that was taking her out for driving lessons. So um, and he was taking all credit for her getting her license. unfortunately, just a couple months before she ended up getting her license, he was murdered.
Mm.
So he didn't get to see her get her license that he worked so hard to help her with and was taking all the credit, and didn't get to see her graduate, didn't get to see high school, didn't get to see her start college, won't get to see her get married. And now he's not here to help me with the medical problems that we've been left with in the aftermath of his murder. Um, so, that being said, back to Muhammad. Um, he used to irritate his mom because every toy that he would get, he would tear it apart and try and put it back together or see how it ticked. And his father was a little more forgiving, and he would tell her, let him go. He's probably going to be an auto mechanic one day. And sure enough, he became a master mechanic and was the best. We were getting ready to open up a shop called Honest Mo's Auto because anytime we had, I would always bring people to get their car fixed with him, even though we didn't have a shop. And nobody ever came back with any complaints. The price was always right. Something kind of unheard of in the auto mechanics business, especially for us single ladies out there getting raped by some of you mechanics. Hello. Um, so yeah. um, Muhammad was not the short little Arab on the corner store. He was a big, tall Arab, 6'4", 250 pounds, brick shit house. And let me just say that if he was here, none of the shit that is going on now between these messed up neighbors I got, and I don't care if you can hear me right now, or the police, none of the, all I'd have to do was stand him outside. He was just scary enough just standing there. And none of this shit would be happening to me and his baby girl.
Mm.
Nonetheless, that's why I fight, because I know that he was a fearless fighter and would have done anything for me and our cupcake. So that's just a little tiny bit about Muhammad and our history together. Um, I don't fit into any category in this fight. Um, because I was technically his ex-wife at the time of his murder. But I will always be the mother of his only child. And am I not allowed to fight for his mom since she can't be here to fight for him? And you better believe that I am going to fight for him because I have to look into those set of eyes every day, and there is no way I could look her in the face and not know that I did everything I could.
Right, right,
He would have done it for me. My daughter has said numerous times, if it would have been one, it would have had to have been dad, because if the police would have killed you, mom, I wouldn't have parents right now, because dad would have gone up to the police station and blown the place up and given them a reason to kill him then. So he speaks through me. He was a very fiery individual. You did not mess with him. Um, and that was part of our relationship. We were a very fiery couple, both strong, bullheaded fighters, and fiercely loyal to our family and ours. So um, that's a little bit about my man. Um, if
I
you, I
love
know
it.
I saw you had some questions. If you want to ask me those questions now, we can do that. Or I can say a little bit about actually what happened, even though, we already did that in the other town hall. So if that's not the place for this tonight, that's fine. As you know, every time we tell their story, we relive it. Um, so yeah, where should we go next, host?
So we're gonna jump into Yvonne so she can
Okay.
tell a little bit about her loved one, and then we're gonna jump into more of the open discussion. So I know it seems a little weird from the way we did it last time.
Ah,
So I wanted to make sure it was kind of like a more open discussion.
yeah.
so that we can kind of just chime in and just talk like ladies. Like all we missing is a glass of wine, right? Just
That's right. Well, you don't know what I have in this
oh,
styrofoam cup.
well, all I have is water, you guys. So that's how I'll make sure next week on this Mother's Day weekend that we have a little virtual wine going on. All right, Yvonne, go ahead and tell us a little bit about your loved one, Alejandro.
My loved one was Alejandro Campos Rios, and he was the jokester. Um, that's why his nickname from everybody was Payaso in Spanish is clown because he liked to joke around and so make people laugh and everything else. And he always liked to make me laugh because he would do the stupidest things and he would know it make me laugh. Even sometimes irritated because sometimes it was not funny when he would do things. But and some of those stuff you miss now because he's not around. You miss the little details of arguments or stupid things that they do. When they're not here. So and when my second granddaughter was born, that was the apple of his eye. She couldn't do no wrong to nobody. He was the protector for her. And people don't know that it affects, the young ones, it affected her a lot till this day. She has a hard time, she misses them like crazy. And, since we didn't have a daughter that was like his daughter. And so she's just having a hard time. She's 10 and doesn't know why he was taken. And so it's just hard on the family. Ever since he's left, like my whole world changed. A lot of stuff has happened. Like my whole life went downhill and I was never like that. And you we get like the PTSD of everything that happens. And we
Mhm.
just don't know how to adjust and know how to be strong for other people as well. And just takes a toll on some people's health. So with mental health, it is an issue, as Alejandro had the mental health issue. So, and I do see a counselor to, to deal with all the anxiety and stress and everything that's going on in my life. It's like I hit rock bottom. Just don't know how to
I've,
get out of it.
I've said it before and I'll say it again a million times. They give our loved ones a life sentence of death, and they give us a life sentence in hell. Absolutely.
You know,
Mm, 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 mm.
because now I can't call him when I have an issue. All I can do is talk to him, but it's not the same. Because no matter what we were in, if we were in a fight or whatever, we were always there for each other no matter what. And now I can't do that.
I'm so sorry. Mm. Yeah, nobody talks about this, talks about the loved ones, the spouses, the mates. And that's why it was one of our first, we chose this to be our first town hall because it gets overlooked all the times. It's mostly impacted parents that are getting all the
Yeah,
spotlight when it comes to the trauma behind it. Nobody thinks about the children either,
no,
children or siblings
yeah,
or any of those. So we'll have a town hall for them as well, just to talk about what that looks like for children, how parents can help. So yeah, it's tough. It's
Yeah.
really really
It's it's hard on Alejandro Jr. as well.
yeah.
And he doesn't really have anybody to guide him on how to deal with all this. Mm, You know, because
Mm,
when he died, he was locked up. He was in jail for something that he did. So they told him inside.
mm,
So that took a lot of toll on him.
mm.
And the sad part is he doesn't want to get the help, knowing he needs help. And because he's an adult, there's not much I can do.
Mm. Whew. All right. So let's get down to these discussions. I think both of you all, your words, your love, your truth, is what this town hall is all about. All right. Now we're going to talk more about, we're going to have more of a guided conversation where we're going to allow like a special space to reflect and connect. Feel free to take your time. If you need to like step away for a second, or if you don't want to answer a particular question, that's fine. It is, like I said, this is almost like our bootleg therapy sessions for the world to see what it's like to be a spouse or mate of someone that was taken by systematic injustice. Because, like I said, the world needs to see it. They need to be able to see what it looks like, see what it feels like. Sometimes we have to play these strong roles all the time,
Yeah.
and nobody gets to see the vulnerable side of what we deal with because those doors are always closed, right?
Right.
So we know it comes with something, but nobody really knows what it looks like. So we're gonna get a little touchy this month about what it looks like, that vulnerable side of what we're dealing with as we're constantly fighting for justice for our loved ones. So the first question is, what do you miss most about your partner on a daily basis? Like what is those things you miss? And either one of you all is no order or anything like that. You can just chime in.
I just miss his voice. And like I said, he was a jokester. So I just miss all the stupid little jokester things he used to do. And sometimes I say it out loud when I see something or a movie or something. I would say, "Oh, your favorite movie's on." Stuff that that's what I miss.
Oh, there's so much to miss about them. Um, I miss that protection. I'm not a high strung feminist. I just miss having my man. And I guess I need to clarify something I can share with you guys. Um, and I haven't shared it too much, but um, on the last night that I saw Muhammad alive, we had been trying to put our relationship back together, and he had re-proposed to me.
Hmm.
And I thought he was kidding, and my daughter was witness. She thought he was kidding too, and we were laughing. And then he pulled out a ring
Oh,
and he said, "I'll wait for your answer." And that was the last time I saw him alive. So then the police, after killing him, decided that they wanted to go down and ransack the apartment because they needed more uh, reasons for killing him. I guess they thought they'd go down there and find a bomb or some bomb making equipment or something of that nature. And they ransacked his apartment, took over 200 of his belongings that they still have in their possession to this day, over 5 years later. This is the ring that Muhammad gave me that
Mm,
night.
hmm.
Uh, it is actually looks a lot like the original ring that he gave me, and that was stolen from me while I was in the hospital with my father dying. But after they went and ransacked his apartment and I got in there to the mess, I found a couple things. One of them was a wedding band set.
Mm.
And I don't have standard size fingers. I'm a former world champion baton fire and sword twirler. So I have very big, chunky fingers. And I'm fat too, so that doesn't help. But so I ended up finding the wedding band set and I wondered. And
Mm.
the smaller of the two bands fits my finger perfectly. So he
Mm.
had to have ordered it. I also found a sign from him in a bag on the floor underneath all the rubble. He had bought a t-shirt the night before. I still have it. Still has the tag on it. It was in a bag with the receipt showing that he had bought it just the night before.
Mm.
And if you can see that, it says never accept defeat. And I saw that and I saw those rings. And I said, that's it. It's time to fight. And I went home and asked my baby girl, do you want mama to fight? Because mama is considered ex-wife. So I don't have a say unless you have a say. Do you want to fight? She said, Mom, I want to fight. That's it. Done. It's been over.
Mm.
So I just missed his everyday presence. I miss his protection. Um, I missed the things, he would never call me Kim. It was always, lady, come here. I gotta talk to you. Um, and if you knew him and you'd hear my imitation of him, everybody says I sound just like him. Um, just like Yvonne said, the things that used to drive you nuts, now you miss them. I used to hate how he sounded like a damn camel guzzling a bottle of water. Go, 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 go. But man, would I give to hear that
Yeah,
now and pick
yeah,
on him and just have his big old brick shithouse ass around sitting next to me instead of his picture sitting next to me out here cracking a
yeah,
fire, blowing a big cloud of smoke, whatever. Uh, but uh, I really, and I hate to say it this way, but I'm missing him more now. Like my
yeah.
daughter got vanity, and I can't put it together. And I know he's up there laughing at me, but I miss him because he would just go, lady, get out of the way. And it'd be put together. Here I am looking at 500 pieces ready. Like, what? No, I need a whole bottle of wine or two. I miss his hugs. Oh my gosh, because I'm not a small woman. And he was bigger than me, and he could just wrap me up and just, I'd love to know what he's thinking right now. I would just love for him to just scream through the clouds and say, "Keep going, lady, keep going," or "Shut up," or whatever. I just, there you miss everything. And you realize I've realized now, especially in this process and all the pansy men I have had to deal with, including the police, there was a reason I married Muhammad, because he was a badass, and that's what I need. I don't need no pansies. I need a man.
That's
And
right.
so in reflection now, I realized why I married him the first time and why I would have married him again had he not been murdered, because he's exactly what I needed. And I just didn't know it there for a certain amount of time. So yeah, but that's all right because he sends me signs every day.
Yeah, he's sending signs now because your little screen just keep flicking. I said, look at Muhammad. See, Mo, you doing too much. He doing his thing. He making sure he is seen. He is here. So
Uh,
yes,
I'm
and
telling
they and
you.
they do come. They do
Oh yeah,
come.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And
So the,
I try not to be sad, when I
yeah,
do recognize a sign from them, although it's hard. Sometimes I'm like, all right, I hear you. I know you're with me. All right, good. Thank you. Come to me in my dreams and tell me something now. Oh, yeah. And like, I'll hear a song, and instead of getting
Yeah.
sad, I'll be like, all right, yeah, yeah, go. Let's work out, let's pump up, I try. Sometimes when you get those signs, it's hard not to break down, but
yeah, yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
tell
And
you
that's
that they're
funny
still
that
here
we're
with
on
you.
this topic because
Yeah.
one of the questions is, do you ever feel their presence with you, and how does it show up? So that's like that question is like we're on the right topic already. Already see Muhammad is already like, okay, Muhammad, can you not have my list of questions and running it through like yeah, like, please? Can I please navigate this?
Can I host my show, Muhammad?
So yeah,
Big and
so what
powerful.
are those ways? So I know we talked about like with Muhammad, like the technology and the systems and stuff go a little haywire. He's in the building. The cats start doing a little thing when he in the building, right? So what are some other things that that you can feel his presence, like it's real, like he's here. He's saying, "I got you. I'm watching you. I may not be here in the flesh, but I'm still here in spirit."
What else? Oh, he flicks the lights in the house. And I know it's him because sometimes I'll sit there and go, Muhammad Jamal, stop it. And then it'll stop. Or the cats will all come running in. But, for a long time, it felt like I was carrying him in the beginning of this. Like I was carrying, I really felt heavy. I kept telling my mom, I just feel heavy. And a friend of mine went to a psychic and she said, yeah, that's because he's going to cling to her.
Mm,
So I felt that for a long time. And I think, part of the fight, helps keep them close too.
right, right, right.
I feel like I haven't moved from December 15th, 2019. I haven't been able to grieve. I haven't been able to let him go, rest in peace. No, no, because we in the dog fight, you know.
Right, right, right. Yeah. I feel the same
So
way. Yeah.
yeah, posting about him every day, interacting with other families, doing stuff like this. It's our only way of showing them, this is all we can do to show them love. We can't show them love in real life anymore. Well, by God, I'm going to do everything I can to fight and show.
I know that's right. I know that's right. So
But
Yvonne,
I'll
what are
shut up.
some
Go ahead,
ways?
Yvonne.
Yeah, what are some ways presence, you feel it?
I don't. It's weird. Sometimes it would be like a movie would pop up that he would watch, and I would I would tell him because his nickname that I called him was Flaco, which is skinny in English. And I would always tell him, "Oh, your movie's on," and I would just sit there and watch the movie with him because I do have him with me. He was cremated, so I have his ashes with me. So I would just off the wall say, "Oh, your movie's on," and stuff like that. But I still, I used to get a lot of signs when I used to have a lot of lit candles.
Mm.
The light would be so bright, and it's weird because I was always scared of having them lit all day, all night. So I bought a battery operated candle, and that's it would brighten too. I was like, what the hell? I go, I didn't even know that they brighten like that, you know, so
Mhm.
bright. And
Interesting.
it's battery operated.
Yeah, yeah, that shows you that boy, the power of the spirit, man. I tell
Yeah.
Yeah, Jalen does little things with. I know we ain't talking about children, but Jalen do little things with candles too. I knew he was in Georgia because he was killed in Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm a water girl, so I'm a mermaid at heart, but can't swim.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's just a little something about me that a lot of people don't know. I'm a mermaid at heart. I love water. Um, so I was in the tub just chilling. I'm trying to get my mind together, process all this stuff that's going on, all the stuff I have to do, get ready for a funeral, just get my life right, right? And I had the candles lit. So me and Jalen are very spiritual. And Jalen is probably way more spiritual than me. I mean, he was one that says, "Hey, mama, go get outside, get that vitamin D, you open up your third eye, black seed oil." I always say he was just way too big for this world.
Yeah.
But the lights and the candles, they were just flickering, flickering,
Yeah.
flickering. Like, oh
Yeah.
my God, he's here. He's in Georgia. So I yelled out to my husband. I'm like, "Oh, Jayla's here." He's like, "What are you talking about? What's wrong with you?" And then like 30 minutes later, the funeral home called me and said, "We got your baby." I said, I knew what I felt. And that was like even through that toughest time, that was the best feeling because I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
he's home, because he was in another state. It was just good to have my baby back. So yeah, they do things with lights. I know Jalen does things with water. He'll cut like if I'm getting really stressed out, he'll cut the shower on and the water will just be running.
Oh
Just
wow.
yeah. He don't does some stuff. Me and my brother were sitting in the car. This is right after Christmas, and I was dropping my nephew off. We were sitting in the car, and the door locked. And I'm like, I asked my brother, I'm like, "Why did you lock the door?" And he says, "I didn't lock the door." I said, "Jalen, come on now, don't do this stuff yet. Like, just let me let me get to that place. I ain't there yet." So
Yeah.
Jalen was, and I knew it was him because every time he would get out the car, he would be like, "Mama, lock the door." And if I didn't lock the door fast enough, he would lock it. So I knew then. I said, "Let me ask him what happened." I said, "Jay, what happened to you?" And then the police car come rolling past my car seconds later. So yeah, they man, they working. That's what I
Yeah.
call it. I say they working. When they're that strong, when the spirit is that strong, they're doing a thing out here, and they're guiding us. We just have to listen a lot of times. Sometimes the trauma and the grief of all of it has our minds so cloudy
Yeah.
that they have to send signs, and sometimes those signs got to be like real strong ones. Some that
Yeah.
seem really weird. I've seen Jalen walk through my house before.
I keep waiting for Muhammad to come down the hallway. Hey, lady, you want coffee?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
didn't say nothing, but he walked straight to where he would always sit in the kitchen, where he would be just like his little chill spot. And it was crazy because I was like, "Wait a minute, is that Jalen? Like this is what they do, right?" So
I got a
yeah,
quick
okay,
I
I
got a
got
quick
used to it.
recent story if you want to hear it. It was actually
Go
yesterday.
ahead.
So those of you who know Muhammad's story know that he had ran out of gas and was shot and killed 3 houses from home where his gas can was in the basement. Um, well, I have his car. I have that car. And I was driving it yesterday to check his PO box because I keep his PO box because I haven't been able to let it go.
Yeah.
And at any rate, the car died, just stopped working as I was going down the road. And so I always talk to him when it comes to cars or especially that car. And I'm like, all right, start telling me things. Tell me what I can do. What can I do? And I'm going through all the stuff that he taught me, try and put it in neutral, see if you can get it started again, blah, blah, blah. Nothing. And I was at a dead stop. And I just said, man, I don't know what else to do. And I don't have anybody to help me push. The next thing I know, that car started rolling
Mm,
and rolled me up, and I turned it up into a driveway of a church, and it got me out of the way from being hit.
mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm.
So yeah, that was just yesterday. So
Wow.
they are all still with us.
Yes,
And
they are. They
if you
are.
get into some car problems, I'll send Muhammad your way to push you to
I
safety.
Well, you know what? Muhammad must have been holding me down the other day when I got in a car accident when somebody hit me, and I mean, pretty much towed my car up. My car was my hood of my car was pretty much on the cliff. So Muhammad, I'm gonna say thank you, boy. Thank you, my dog, because I got out of there with no scratches, no nothing. The car could be, fixed and all that stuff, but I'm fine. I don't have any pain from it. I mean, I literally got out that car like I got in the car. So thank you, Muhammad. Thank you, Jalen. Thank, thank you, whoever
It's
else out there that's
true.
helping a sister out because I really appreciate y'all. So let's talk
Right.
about this. What are some of the coping methods that you use that have been helpful? Like I know some people are like when they something happens to their loved one and they shut down. And I know with me, I darkness was my best friend. Like I didn't cut the TV on. I didn't do anything. I remember sitting in the closet sometimes, just kind of hiding away from like life. Like I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't even want to face anything. So what are the some of the coping methods that you have used to get you to the point you are now? Um, that's been helpful that some other people can take from this town hall.
I don't have any. I'm still in the grieving mode.
Got it, got it. And that's okay. It's okay. It's a process, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely a process. I see a therapist. Like I had to.
I do too, but the therapist that I have, she's a young girl. It's not somebody older and would know what I'm going through. She kind of does, but she's only like in her 20s. So
Mm,
it's not like I wish I had somebody older. I did at one point, but she had left the the facility.
mm.
So now I wish I had that older person that can kind of relate
Right,
and
right.
can tell me, because sometimes there's things that I have to get done and I just get up and do it and then I just back down from doing it and gets a little overwhelming because
Yeah,
I'm like I know I can do this, but if somebody's not there to push me to do it, then it's kind of hard.
yeah. I'm still dealing with that too. I didn't have. We had a convention business, a family business that I keep pushing off. Because Jalen was always my motivation, right? He was my push, my push. He got me to do some stuff. And I just haven't got to the point where I've got back to that space to be able to do certain things. And I sometimes I need that push, that supportive, outside, non-judgmental. Let's throw that in there.
Yeah,
The non-judgmental person to say, "Hey, girl, get up. You got this. Like, let's walk this walk together.
yeah,
What do you need to do? Like, okay, we need to look up conventions today. Let's get a calendar out. Let's go to Google and do it together. Sometimes you just need that extra little push, that little love, a heart like that hard love.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I totally understand. Kimberly, what do you do? What are some of your coping methods?
I'm sorry. I had it started raining outside, so I
It's
had to move
okay.
indoors.
It's
uh,
okay. It's okay.
well, you hear that stuff called self care in this fight, but I don't really know what that is. I take care, obviously, of my disabled 22-year-old daughter and my 79-year-old mother. Um, so don't get, and then when I'm not doing that, I'm fighting. Um, and that's daily. I mean, you all know how that goes. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust my phone here.
No, you
Um, I don't think I do cope.
okay?
Um, for a while, it was food.
Hmm.
Um, Food was my comfort, my help. I have tried talking to some people, but they end up looking at me like you just need to write a book or do a movie or something
And you
because
should look.
this is
You
some
should.
shit.
Yeah, you should. You should. Somebody
Um,
needs to hear your story. You should.
yeah. So a lot of times when I talk to, therapists or whoever, they don't have a lot of tools for me because there. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean to that profession, but there just isn't a whole lot of training for something like this. They don't know
Mhm.
what to say to you. And
Mhm.
especially
Mhm.
with all the other stuff that happens to us as families, I lost Muhammad's father 2 years after Muhammad. I found my brother dead a year after Muhammad. My daughter's going in a wheelchair. They don't understand the ripple effect that this has through your family.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's, I, I'm not a drinker, so I haven't hit the bottle. People have told me smoke as much weed as you can now that it's legal in Ohio. Um, you know, uh, I've kind of moved away from food. Um, yeah, and I used to get bad comments made about me. That bitch needs to shut up about Muhammad and go take stock in lean cuisine before she dies of diabetes and all this. The harassment is just quite enough. But
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, cope, maybe get through every day, maybe put your feet on the ground and march and fight as long as you can. Yeah. Uh, wake up to what explosion is going to be what I got to deal with for today. Cause I guarantee you everybody, all of my friends say any explosions today, cause they
Mhm.
already know. So it's never ending. And like Yvonne said earlier, you wake up to a whole new world and it's not a good one. And all you know is that they're not there. So blessed to those that have a therapist that is equipped to help them and give them some tools to deal with this. I just am grateful that I haven't resorted to alcoholism or drugs
Mhm.
or violence as much as all of us want to be homicidal there for a little while because they were homicidal on our loved ones.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
we know that we can't do that.
Right.
We got to
Right.
stay in this fight because that's what they want. They want to get us
Exactly.
so they can shut up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
They want to
It,
silence us.
yeah,
exactly. Exactly.
so you can't play their game as much as you want to.
So then,
I would love to extend an open invitation and say it's not a threat or a promise. You just name the time and the place, and I'll be there. And I guarantee you, I won't have guns, but there will be fireworks, guaranteed.
well, definitely DM me the invitation first, okay? So I can. I want to see it firsthand. I don't want to see it on the live or nothing else. I want to see firsthand, okay? Yes, ma'am.
Everybody show up with a chair and popcorn.
Exactly. I'm buying everybody wine coolers. That's about all I can do because I don't want you to be an alcoholic because of me, but I do want us to have a little spike in our life, right? So I get a little wine cooler. So it has to be something that gives you all strength to keep going. Like what, like during those hard days where you just feel like totally shutting down, you feel like your support system is not there. Nobody's hearing you, you don't have nobody, your job is crazy, them people irritated you at this point, the kids is irritated. Right. What do you do for those hard days where you just feel like you have nothing and nobody? Like what are you doing?
Nothing.
Nothing.
It's our love for our babies and our men. That's the only thing that keeps us going because if we don't fight for them, no one else is going to do it. So if I don't get my fat ass up out of bed and, stop staring at the walls, wondering what the hell am I going to do and get up and do something instead. That I think that's probably maybe that is what it is for me is that's how I get out my aggression and my anger is because I go fight and scream and protest and being annoying as possible to them, and just letting them know Muhammad picked a tough bitch, you got to deal with her now.
Okay.
um
So that's your coping
so
method.
that I guess that I mean it's not the healthiest way because I
Yeah.
will. Everybody knows me. I bring the fire. I'm not a cupcake about this. And I have many pictures and videos of me screaming and pointing fingers and being all kinds of ugly. Because you're just not going to shut me up. So
Right. Right.
that I think maybe that's my way of getting out the aggression, albeit not the best way, but that's where it comes, is that fight. Because I just think, man, I got to get up and do something. I got to fight
Yeah.
somehow. Oh, they're having a
Yeah.
meeting. I need to go tell them what's up. You know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think that's what all of us are dealing with because we really don't have a system that is set to support us when we're dealing with this type of trauma. So I think we kind of all have coped in the same manner, whether or not it's healthy
Mm-hmm.
or unhealthy. Um, unhealthy way or a healthy way. We've just that's just been the way we've coped. Is to get out and fight. And that's been our coping method, which is kind of unhealthy in a way because we need a little bit more resources. So that's this is a great conversation because now we know that we need to start asking for assistance in this area that we can have more trained people for this type of trauma. There's not enough experience for people like that. I know I have an older therapist, so she's really good, but she's one of them mind, body, soul. She can roll over to the holistic side real quick. So that's why she works for me because she'll be like, "Well, Ashley, did you breathe? Ashley, did you use the Calm app?" I be like, "No, I didn't." I be wanting to lie so bad, but I know they don't need to lying about it. I be like, I ain't got to no Calm app today, but I'm gonna do my best. But yeah, did you exercise? And I'm just like, no, I ate a whole cheesecake. Today just wasn't one of the days. Like you asking me dumb stuff at this point. No, I ain't exercise. Do you see how big my arm getting from the last session? No, I did not exercise.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I will say that for me, the unhealthy things that I've been doing has been my method of coping. It's still been putting a smile on my face. I may be getting some other stuff that come with that. But yeah, so I get it. I get it. But what do
Yeah.
you want the audience and the community to understand about a grieving partner? So what do you want the world to know for people who don't have like me? I don't have a mate that was I'm not traumatized by the loss of my mate from police brutality. It's just my son. So everybody is still the same. It's still all trauma, but it's different type of trauma.
Right. Right.
So what do
That's
you
what
want
when
the
I
world
when I
to
usually
understand?
say is like I don't understand like the women that I meet, it's their children. So I can relate on how their life was taken, but I can't relate on how the grieving is because it's a
Exactly.
child. It's totally a different kind of grief.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, what you want the audience, the community to know about what it feels like or what it is for a grieving partner? Because we don't want anybody to leave anybody out. We need everybody to
Right.
understand what it's like to walk in each other's shoes. I feel like we'll have more unity as we're fighting this type of trauma that we're going through if we understood what each shoes look like. Because for me, I'll tell somebody, well, Jayla was my only child, but then somebody
Yeah.
else has lost one child but may have two other children. So we're looking at it all as a mother perspective,
Perspective.
but at the same time, it's two different scenarios there because I
Yeah.
don't have any children to go home to. This one person does, this other person may have grandkids, and I'm looking like, well, at
Yeah.
least you got somebody. And then
Yeah.
they looking at it, well, at least you don't have to worry about the drama of or the trauma that's left for your grandkids.
Yeah.
So it's like it's two different type of it's all trauma,
Yeah.
but it's two different
It's all
scenarios.
trauma. It's all different scenarios
Yep, yep, yep,
on how to deal with the grief and everything else.
yep.
It's just
I would
you know
like. Oh, go ahead, sister.
yeah. So it's like, of course, it's our spouse. It's our, like me and Alejandro, we weren't married, but we were together for 29 years. So people would think, well, you weren't married to him, but it didn't matter if we were married. We were still together. We were still part of one. And I knew him more than anybody else. I knew him more than his own family.
Hmm.
And And I used to get a lot of backlash from his family, and some of them I had to like block off of social media because I would post stuff and they're like, well, he had a sister, he had a brother. I go, I understand that, but I'm posting it on my Facebook
Right,
and
right,
I want people to know how I feel about him not being here. You know, you got a Facebook or Instagram, you could post about him on there, how you miss him and he has sisters and brothers still alive and stuff like that, you know. And it was, I know he dealt with a lot of mental illness before he passed. He was the last person to speak to his sister before she passed as well. She passed that same year as he did. I believe she passed away, I want to say in January, and then he passed away in March. So I even encouraged him, you know, call her, talk to her. Maybe by you talking to her, it would bring her back to life and she would get out of her depression that was she was in. And he's like, okay. And then when he didn't call her for like 2 days, and I'm like, no, you got to call her every day. You know, I had to like encourage him to do stuff because he was going through his mental illness. Then he had a nephew that was calling him that was in a mental health facility, and he would be you know, drugged up from the facility because they do give a medication to relax them and stuff or whatever they're dealing with. And I know that hit him hard too. So I think it just all bun rushed him with the mental health and him dealing with all the depression of everybody else's life going through and going to him thinking he was the tough one. And because he was the only one that would be there for everybody, no matter what.
mm,
So it just took a toll on him a lot. And people say, oh, mental health is nothing. I go, yes, it is.
it
It
is.
is a big thing. It is a big thing, you know. And it's hard when your partner is going through that and now your son's going through it, which is his son, and then I'm going through it. So it's kind of hard to help him when I'm going through the grief,
Right, right, right.
you know. And so it's kind of hard and people don't really understand what we all go through. Even if, you know, we're a spouse, we still go through that grief no matter what,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
you know. Not as deeply as if it was a child. That's a different kind of love, but altogether it's still love no matter what.
Right.
That's kind of what I wanted to piggyback on. Um, if I wanted to say anything to our community, stop judging.
Right.
Not all of us are in the same category in the end. Think about it. We all want the same thing in the end. We're all going to go about it different ways. We're going to
Mm-hmm.
feel differently about it. How about, they don't hand us a man. There ain't no manual out there on how to do this, folks. So don't judge anybody for their fight. That's been a problem for me is that I don't get support from the white community because Muhammad was Muslim. I don't get support from the Muslim community because the press made Muhammad out to be a Muslim, thank you, being fed directly from the Akron police. So they don't want to be associated with supporting a terrorist. Um, Obviously, I'm not black and Muhammad's not black. So, let's be real here. It is what it is. And I've been told that my loss isn't as great as somebody else's loss because I just loved Muhammad. I didn't birth him. I'm tired of it all. I don't do that to anybody else. I don't diminish their child's, law. And nobody knows that I've lost two children. So I do know what it is to lose a child, just not to police brutality. How are you going to sit there and tell me anything?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, we're all reaching for the same goal.
Exactly.
Why do you have to put everybody in a category? And
Yeah.
then it goes on, well, she wasn't even his wife. divorced and, this and that. So I don't fit into the wife category either, but nobody knows my story, that we were trying to put it back together. Does it matter? Why am I not allowed to fight for him?
That's right.
No, that's not, I'm not going back. I don't put everybody else in a category, and I'll be damned if I'm going to come and tell a mom that, her loss isn't, as big as mine or no. Now, why do we have to do all that other stuff? Why can't we just shoulder to
Exactly.
shoulder,
Yeah.
Exactly.
arm in arm? Why can't we
Exactly.
just go?
Yeah.
Why
Exactly.
put me in a box? Why? Oh no, this is the reason why nobody fucks with her in Ohio. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Nobody messes with her in Ohio. Yeah, you know what? Because you don't like my fight. You want me to shut up, or you want me to do things your way, or you want to pick any little reason about me to push me out of this fight or put me in a little box somewhere. Oh, that white bitch or whatever. Come on, man.
Yeah.
I just want to stand up next to the rest of you and fight just as hard and loud. Come on. This is
Exactly.
what they want. They want us all fighting in amongst each other so they can sit back and laugh, and that's what they're
Yeah.
doing right now.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
laughing at all
Yeah.
and all this "Ugh" going on.
I agree. I agree. It is hard. I always say, I always post this: no loss is more important than the other. I always say that all the time. There is not a high profile, there should not be a low profile. Everybody lost someone, and every life is important. It may not be important. My son' life may not be important to the next person, but he was very important to me. So I would expect the same respect that I would give you about your loved one that you should give me for mine. So again, we all have to remember that, and I'm so glad you say that because I see it so much when dealing with so many different families or different communities from all over the world, nationwide, when we do this type of stuff, and you just see such a division, how some people feel like they, because the media have given them a higher platform than others, that their loved one is more important than the next, and that's not. And you guys, that it will be our last town hall, the media, so be looking out for that one as well. But before we get out of here, I have one more question. If you could say one more thing to your partner, what would it be? I know that's a tough one. And you don't have to answer if you ain't comfortable, but I just wanted to know because I'm outside looking in, as in like, dang, what if I lost my mate? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
now I'm actually in y'all's shoes tonight. Like I'm wearing them. I got my boots tied up tight, like
The most I would tell him I love him and miss him. Mostly I love you because most of the time we never really said that to each other. We just knew it in our heart.
mhm. Mhm.
You just
Mhm.
had it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, I would tell Muhammad I loved him, of course, but I tell him that every day anyway.
Yeah.
I think much past that, come back,
Yeah.
come back.
I want to thank y'all so much.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Y'all hear it from partners, from spouses, from mates of some of people that have died to police brutality. So now you see what it's like to be in someone else's shoes, and that's what we're going to explore this whole entire month, is what it looks like to wear somebody else's shoes that has lost someone, not necessarily from gun violence, not necessarily from police brutality, but from trauma. This is all about trauma. This is all
Yep.
about grief. And all of this, no matter how your loved one was
Hola.
traumatically taken, it is all systematic injustice. And we all have to fight. So as we prepare to close tonight, we're going to take a moment to center in a healing ritual. We're going to place one hand over our heart and one over our stomach. And we're going to breathe in deeply and exhale. So go ahead and let's breathe. And we're going to exhale. And then I want you to repeat after me silently in your mind. I carry your love. I carry our story. I'm still here. You are not alone. You are still held. You are still loved. All right. So thank you all. Thank you,
Thank you.
Kimberly. Thank
Thank
you,
you, Ashley, for
John.
having us.
Yes. And we will see you guys next week for a Mother's Day special. Everybody's invited. If you a mother, come
Woohoo!
join us because we got some special stuff going. We're going to tap into more of the holistic side next week. So it's going to be fun for all the mothers. So see you next
Okay.
Friday at 7 p.m. Thank you again, everybody.
Thank you.
Light a candle.
Yes.
Yes.